What's up, everyone? Welcome to Synth Night on the Living Force. That's right, you found us. It's Monday night, everyone. We are in the High Republic mood. We are ready. It's already a little warm, so I'm concerned, but it doesn't matter because it's time for Wes to... Budget! That's right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in to the Living Force and Hot Girl Summer, because I got a White Claw, and I'm ready for this. Everyone, it is High Republic Recap Night. I am one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me to remind y'all what happened in the first wave of our new favorite Star Wars era, I said it, is Dr. Corey Helton. Hey, man.
Hello. Welcome. Hopefully everything flipping works this time. I fixed it all after our last little mishap on Bounty Hunt the other night, but that's okay. We're here now, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It is. We got Hydro Spanners, which is, I think Hydro Spanners fix everything in Star Wars. Like, literally,
right.
just hit it with a Hydro Spanner. If you don't want to hit it with a Hydro Spanner, you can hit Dr. Charles Hanko with a Hydro Spanner. Hey, man.
Wow.
You could. Option number 2, which I prefer, is bypassing the compressor, but that's fine too.
Ooh, you should always bypass the compressor, but you should never bypass an opportunity to gaze into the starry eyes of Wes Jenkins.
Oh my God.
Good evening, all. Wow. Eric, how I envy all your transitions. I hope everyone's doing well. We have a good summary show for you because I sure as hell need it. On to the show, all right.
That's right. So yes, everyone, if you're listening to this later, we are recording this Monday, June 28th. It is the eve of the High Republic Wave 2, which will bring to us The Rising Storm by Cavan Scott and Race to Crashpoint Tower by Daniel Jose Older. Now, a lot has happened in the High Republic since it began up till this point. So tonight's show is to basically tell you all, hey, remember that book you read a couple months back before you read Greater Good and all those Thrawn names that totally pushed everything else out of your brain? We're going to remind you. So all the characters that you need to know, the major plot points by those of us that have read the books already. There will be no spoilers. I repeat, no spoilers for Wave 2. So as far as Rising Storm, Crashpoint Tower, you're safe. Everything before that, we will say moderate spoilers. We will be talking the main plot points. So if you have not read the Wave 1 of the High Republic, Light of the Jedi, Into the Dark, A Test of Courage, and the High Republic comic and the High Republic Adventures comics up till this point, you may get some slight spoilers. We would love for you to stick around. Love for you to get caught up in the chat. We had a great chat tonight already. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. But we want to get that out of the way first. All right. Now that that's done, a couple things before we delve into these glorious yellow banners next to me. Last week, we had a draft show. It was a great time. It was a fun time. And guys, I thought it was a pretty balanced draft as far as our drafts have gone. I thought everyone had a really great team. And usually I just lie and say that because I love you guys and I think I kill you all. But
Wow.
This time, honesty is friendship. Friendship is honesty. We have a poll that is over. And it's a bit of a surprise. We want to show our folks at home the results of last week's draft poll. What is this? Is this a soccer game?
I never win anything. I swear to God.
Ever.
We're not worried about you, Corey.
Oh,
We're
shut the hell up. Look at this crap. Listen, you tell me right now this is not rigged because I 100% objectively have the best list on that flipping thing. You guys suck, all right?
For our audio listeners, in fourth place last week is Dr. Corey Helton with 12.5% of the votes.
In fourth/last place. Go ahead.
Yeah. In third place is myself with 25% of the vote. And in first/second, which is also first place, is a freaking tie. Wes and Charles both got 31.3% of the vote to the decimal. So,
freaking ridiculous.
I guess what we're saying is...
What book do you think is the one that, like, determined this? Because I think people look at this and they see, like, one or two books in the list.
Bring that graphic back. I gotta remind us. So,
okay. I think my first pick kind of set the
Light
tone.
of the Jedi, yeah, that did a lot.
Yeah.
Charles Thrawn, I think, did a lot, though. Because that's the only Thrawn book we had anywhere.
Maybe Alphabet Squadron.
True.
Or Alphabet
But
Squadron.
it's interesting that we have 2 out of 3 books from the Alphabet Squadron trilogy between us. So
Well, and Carson in the chat says Wes had the best overall list. Well, I guess we know who you voted
That's what
for,
I'm talking
traitor.
about, Cars.
Good.
Fine. That's fine, man. I know.
You didn't vote and you're in the comments now thinking either Wes or my list is better. This is your fault.
Remember how you feel sometimes when you don't vote and you're like, I wish that had gone differently. Next time, although it'll be a while. There's going to be a while for our next one.
We got a good turnout. We got a lot of
Yes,
love
we did.
for Dooku Jedi Lost. That's probably helped me out too. So
Yeah.
I put a little rebuttal last night onto the Twitter, so you go and check out our Twitter and see.
It was great.
I hate this podcast. All right.
just say I
Let's
woke
move
up to
on.
a threat.
Yeah, if you ever want to know if Wes actually does love the WWE as much as he says, absolutely. It's all in that video. It was so great. All right. Well, thank you all again for voting. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll do another draft later on this year. We're going to let them sit for a while, but we love them. We hope you had a good time. And hey, we hope you checked out some of those books. We had people saying that we mentioned some titles you had never heard of before, and you go and pick them up or give them to some friends, you know? That's why we're here. All right. Next up, we go to our lovely patrons, again, that make everything that we do possible. We got a new patron this week, which is Feronia Triong, became a monthly patron. Thank you so much. And patrons, here's the thing. We have been getting our trivia night ready for you all. And speak of the devil, Emma, our very own Irma Jedi 26, just came into the chat, has agreed to moderate the night because we realized we will not be in a state to moderate anything on this patron event. Unfortunately, though, we are here to announce that this will be coming sometime in August. I know that it's almost July. It's going to be a whole nother month, but we want this to be a weekend event because we all have jobs. We want to be responsible, right? But we also want to make sure that as many people can join as possible. So it'll be the 4 of us. It'll be Emma. It'll be a Friday or a Saturday night. We're still getting the exact date.
I thought we had a date.
Do we have a date?
Yes.
What's the date?
We decided. Isn't it the 20th? I want to say. I thought we had a date. We decided.
We did choose a date. But
Great. Tell me again. I don't remember.
What's the name of the channel that this is in? It's trivia. Oh, here it is.
August
Here it is.
20th.
August 20th.
What's the date?
August 20th. Yeah, August 20th. That's the date. I don't know the time yet. Maybe
That'll be
time.
probably
at a time.
7 or 8.
That's our go-to times for stuff.
Emma
Yeah.
in the chat says, "Wish me luck, y'all."
Yeah.
Yes.
I need it.
I have to say, finding a date for all 5 of us to be there was damn near impossible. Holy
Why
crap.
it's August.
We have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on. I mean, between mine and Charles' residency schedule and Eric's job schedule and Wes's job schedule and Emma is going back to school, like this is a miracle that we were even able to make this work. So
Yes.
fingers crossed it still happens. We're really excited. This gives us plenty of time to plan. All right. So it's going to be epic.
Yes. There will be
Yes.
graphics. There will be fun rules. And again, for anyone that hasn't listened to the last couple episodes, this is our patron of only event. We hit a Patreon goal. So the 4 of us will be imbibing a variety of drinks, inspired, we hope, by the Cantina of Comics show on this very channel. And we will be answering trivia questions that Emma will be moderating. It'll be open to all patrons. So if right now things are a little tight, that's fine. Maybe in August. If you want to jump on for a month and join, I'm not going to say you should, but
you
I'd
should.
probably do that. So
Absolutely.
we'll see you all in August. It'll be a lot of fun. All right. Next up is our Star Wars Weekly Roundup. Up. I love it so much.
I need to put this.
All right. Oh, you're going to say something. What do you got, Corey? You say something? Were you mumbling?
He's got 12.5%. That's what he's got.
That's mumbling. Shut up. Oh my God. Get out.
All right. Here we go, folks. There's his face.
You know what? Listen, we got to do the roundup again because we have to clip this for YouTube. All right. So let's show the graphic again.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. There's no mic in that. Oh, okay. That's dumb.
No. All right, well, here we go. Everybody, we got a little bit of news this week we want to catch you all up on. Biggest thing in our book community. We are loving the Legends Essentials collection we got last week. Again, we got Darth Bane Book 1, Shatterpoint, and the first Thrawn book, Heir to the Empire. Those were great. We got new paperbacks. And this week, we got a brand new announcement that we're getting another wave of books. Not a surprise that we're getting more books because they're pretty successful, but a little bit of a surprise as to what books there were. So, Corey, if you can show us our Utini write-up that we put together about this, we'll tell folks which books were brought into the new collection. So this is the article we put out. Essential Legends Collection Wave 2 was revealed, and we got The Rule of Two, the second Darth Bane book by Drew Karpyshyn, cover by Simon Gonnard. We got Dark Force Rising and The Last Command by Timothy Zahn, covers by Tracy Ching. And we got Rogue Squadron, which is book 1 of, wait a minute, the Rogue Squadron series by Michael Stackpole, covered by Doley. And that is getting an unabridged audiobook by none other than Mark Thompson. So, fellas, first initial thoughts both on the books we got and these new covers. Oh my God. That's my first one. Spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited by this. I mean, we were talking with one of the editors over at Del Rey is in our Discord channel. We were talking with Tom. We were talking with him about like kind of the genius of this. You know, I still stand by that making Legends its own thing was an incredibly smart storytelling decision. I fully agree with the whole Legends decision. And this has made like our job at Utini a lot easier because they've sort of like repackaged like some of the best content in Legends and made it more like available because they're labeling these as like the Essential Legends collection, which is fantastic, right? So people that are like, I don't really know what to read with Legends. I haven't stumbled on Utini yet. Like, this is perfect for them. It's got these cool covers. It'll have this like sort of classical book vibe. Like, I'm really stoked by it. This is really cool.
Yeah. Look at Harris in the chat already saying, I really need to try a Legends book. Don't know what to start with.
There you go.
These are great. Wes, you gave my answer there in the chat. Kick along with Kenobi, which I'm sure is coming down the line. But you're totally right, Corey. This is exactly kind of what we've been trying to do for 3 years.
Exactly. And it's actually printed this way too. Also, they've taken the opportunity to totally redesign some of the covers, which totally needed an update, which is great.
So like if you've been reading the canon books that just came out and you're reading them as they come out, you finish those and you just don't have time to go back and read the Legends because they've been there forever, right? We've always had these Legends books, but so these re-entries, you could say, are awesome to pick up because it's almost like they're brand new, like they're new releases. So
you get that same feeling.
I haven't read the Rogue Squadron, any of the Rogue Squadron books or the X-Wing series. So I think that's what I might be picking up first.
I love that. Which is also great because, you know, the X-Wing series went back and forth between the Rogue Squadrons and the Wraith Squadrons. And we've talked like previously on the show about how, you know, it's kind of tough to know which one is which because they don't say Rogue or Wraith. And now they are rebranding the Rogue Squadron series like this, which I think is a great call for, especially for new readers. Can we look at let's do a cover comparison because we say these are good, but some of y'all maybe you haven't seen the old covers in a while. And some of them maybe got improved. So, all right, we're going to start off with the 10 out of 10. All right, great. Rule of Two. We got Bane in the background with Xana in front.
Whoa, I did not even notice Bane in the background until you pointed that out. Holy smoke, that looks sick. All right, look at the old cover. This is one of the maybe the worst cover in the history of Star Wars. Look at it a little closer here.
It is,
like,
yeah, man. This
one
one
of
this one's rough, dude.
We asked for years for Bane covers, and they're like, "No, yeah, we get it."
Yeah, like Xana has fire hair right there in that picture. What is that?
I'm not sure.
Bane is just Voldemort. Like it's just
straight up.
Voldemort.
It's like Voldemort got his hands on like some goth eyeliner. That's what it looks like.
Well, you know what's interesting though that I actually appreciate is you can definitely still see shades of this cover in the new cover. Like look at Bane's eyes here, and then it is the same eyes, right?
Yeah, they kept the storytelling elements for sure, which is such a cool decision.
And that's what Legends is all about, right? Like appreciating the weirdness of it. So like they're rebranding, but they're still keeping those little details. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So that one's great. Sure. Great call. Next one, Dark Force Rising. Very clean cover.
Yeah.
I like this.
I like this one too. I love these. And the old cover is like very dated. I mean, it's definitely
It's busy.
It is. It's busy. I mean, it looks like 90s Legends. I mean, this came out in 1992. This book is older than I am.
Dang.
Yeah. Also, am I the youngest?
It's not old, Corey.
Am I the youngest of the four of us? I've never really considered that before.
I think you are.
I think I am, aren't I? What do you know?
No, dude, I'm like 10 years older than you are.
Yeah. The new cover looks fantastic, and I don't have one pulled up, but I have seen the comparison of them all side by side. With this one, and then here's the other one, right? The Last Command, the third one with Mara Jade on it, which looks
the tension. Look at that tension.
It looks sick, man. I love
and
this.
It's vastly different from the original Legends cover, right?
This is very different.
Yeah, here's the original.
Look at that.
Here's the original.
With Luke.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think we can move on from this without talking about the dumb Twitter drama that was this week about
briefly.
Mara Jade having a green lightsaber. Yes, it was absolutely intentional, you bunch of morons. And then look at this one. Is this Mara Jade right here on the cover of this one? She definitely has a green lightsaber, if it is. I think that might be. Is that Mara Jade? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know.
I don't remember. But
anyway, who cares? She's a green lightsaber.
They read the books.
Yeah,
they read the books.
Yeah, Tom clarified that to us, and in Discord. And yes, of course, it was an intentional decision. And fine, it's fine. Chill out, people.
It's great.
Chill out.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite cover. The Rogue Squadron one. This is incredible.
Yeah,
This
strong Alphabet Squadron vibes for sure.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, people like those covers. Didn't you, Teeny, give those covers the best cover of the year? Well, then maybe we should do it again. That was us. We did it. We did it.
Another old cover that I don't think has aged poorly, to be honest.
No,
I like this
like
cover.
this.
It's still good. It's still very good.
Yes, I love the X-Wing covers. They're very. It has strong 90s video game vibes, and I love it.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just different. And that's what I like that they did with the Rogue Squadron particularly. They just made it a totally different aesthetic. And that's great because now you have two different covers on your shelf that look completely different.
For sure.
And you'll buy more and spend more money because is that why they're doing it? Yes. Of course it's for money. Come on.
I'm honestly still torn. Like, the more of these they put out, like the first wave came out and I was like, I own all of these books.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a second copy. And now the second wave has come out and I'm like, but I really want those. Though.
I know, man. I know. Me too.
The more I'm going to want them.
Yeah,
when
the
they
more
make
artwork.
Kenobi, guys, you know me. When they make Kenobi, I'm buying it. And I cannot wait to see that cover.
No, rightfully so.
Why would you have to walk into another room and grab that book that you already have when you can have it in another room too?
Exactly. Have one by the
way
bed
over
at
that
all
room.
times. Yeah. Guys, quick breaking news flash. I just got a message from our CFO of our company that our very own Aaron Thompson just joined as a monthly Inquisitorious patron.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, you actually want to see us do that dumb stuff in August. You're amazing. Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right.
Now
so that's all coming out.
I do have one minor criticism of these covers, if I may.
Let's end on that. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Minor criticism.
Oh yeah, do it.
These are the officially released images from Del Rey, by the way. In both this image and which one? This one. They have this white thing in the side of them. Like, why? That's not intentional. Like, this is a publishing error. I don't understand why. Like, I had to crop these to use them on our website and stuff, to clean them up some, because come on, that's dumb. Get that white out of there, bro. What are you doing?
Jeez.
What are you
It's
doing?
almost like having a professionally made podcast and you have dogs barking in the background.
Come on, get out of there. Get out of there. Shut up. Well, if you want these apparently very unprofessional books, September 7th is when they're coming out. And fun fact to tie it into this whole show, September 7th is also when the High Republic manga comes out. So you can get a little bit of Legends and the newest canon possible in the same day.
That was
Synergy.
It was sarcasm, by the way, about this stupid white thing. It doesn't matter at all. Just so we're clear. There's white stuff on the side of the covers, and that is very unprofessional. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh man, your nerd
right.
voice is great.
All right, one other thing we got. The guy we're going to be talking about a lot tomorrow on Twitter, but also a little bit at the end of this show, Cavan Scott is a lovely comics creator. We love him in the Star Wars comics world. Last couple years, he's been doing Tales from Vader's Castle and assorted creepy stories. And this fall, this Halloween, you better believe they're coming back with Star Wars Adventures, Ghosts of Vader's Castle. Look at that image. Look at that power. Oh my gosh. This is going to feature a bunch of artists. It's kind of a celebration of all the Vader's castles that came before it. So we got artists like Francesco Francavilla, Megan Levins, Robert Hack, and Chris Finoglio, among a bunch of others. Oh my gosh, look at all these Jackson. Look how much Jackson is in this.
Happening.
Oh my goodness. I love these. We got sorry for our audio listeners.
Oh
we got
my god,
Dude.
corn picture.
Oh my god, that is dark, dude. Look at what is this picture?
So we are looking at StarWars.com did a spread preview of this Ghosts of Vader's Castle series that's coming out in Halloween, and one of the images, there's a bunch of great ones. There's Vader. There's some classic heroes. There's Jackson. They're all very monster movie themed, just as they all have been. And then you have the most terrifying Children of the Corn child. Omen, terrifying baby bowl cut Anakin, and it makes me want to stab my eyes out.
Yeah, that's what that is. Molokai. That's what this kid's name is.
So that's gonna be Corey's new lock screen. We know that. Just every morning, wake up.
I'm not. Listen, this is. I wonder if this is in reference to like some kind of moment in young Anakin's life. What could he have possibly done that made him like Sith-like as a child?
That's when he watched Padme sleep that one night when they were in there. He was like,
"Oh God, I don't like
All
that."
I'm gonna say is, if Anakin looked like that when Qui-Gon found him. If Anakin looked like that when Qui-Gon found him, he'd be like, "It's not the chosen one. We gotta go."
Nope. Oh, wrong chosen one. Sorry, I'm gonna speak into my Gillette razor and tell everyone we gotta go.
Yeah, he would have influenced the chance cube to the other way.
Yeah. Oh no, so weird. But all that creepy Anakin aside, it's a great cover though. That cover is gonna sell out like crazy. Let's be honest. That was very fun. All these, if you're unfamiliar with these are Star Wars Adventures comics that have told like one big frame story of a few groups of characters that tell like horror stories based on classic horror films that Cavan loves in the Star Wars universe and the comics. So if you're a fan, for instance, of George Mann's Dark Legends book, absolutely go ahead, pick up these comics, and this fall, Halloween, we're going to get some more. Always love more Cavan content here on The Living Force. And of course, if you want that or anything else that's coming up, you got to check out our new release timeline over at utini.com. Frank is doing the Lord's work every single day, putting new releases up there, keeping us updated, keeping the cover art updated. So if you need to know when things are coming out, head over there and get those pre-orders in wherever you want. Amazon, Books A Million, Bookshop, whatever you want to do. All right. We're going to skip some book reviews this week because we want to dive now right into the High Republic recap. Before we do, let's see what Jose has whipped up for everyone to put on your bodies. And then we're going to come back and say, oh, wait, remember that guy from the High Republic? Be back in a sec. All right, folks, we're here. Tomorrow starts Wave 2 of the High Republic with these two beautiful books right here next to me. The Rising Storm by Cavan Scott and Race to Crashpoint Tower by Daniel Jose Older. We're going to say right now, before we get into any recap stuff, people are going to ask which one you should read first. I will say, if you want the most complete story, The Rising Storm should be read first, followed by Race to Crashpoint Tower. And regardless if you do that, all the authors have said, no matter what, these should be read before you read Justina Ireland's book next month. So, because that's going to have major spoilers for both these books. Crashpoint Tower events do happen in Rising Storm and vice versa, but for the best story, this one first, this one second. All right. Just because that's been asked on Twitter a ton of times already, always go release order if you can.
Yeah.
All right. So, fellas, before we get into the recap, we just haven't really talked about this a ton ourselves. I have read both books.
All right, relax. Jeez.
No.
Flex a little harder.
I have done my thing that I need to do. How are you guys feeling about Wave 2? Are you excited?
I legitimately forgot that I had it. I have the Rising Storm book right here. I totally forgot I even owned it. Apparently, it's been sitting right there this whole time. I didn't even know it was there.
Corey's a no, a solid lukewarm.
That's right. Yep, you know.
I have been like it's been on the tip of my tongue to like spoil everything. I'm glad you said we could spoil these things, as I usually screw that up. But I have been jumping to find out what happens to Loden Greatstorm. Like they just in the book that way, and you're just like, when is this next book coming out?
Yeah,
Let
exactly.
us know.
Yeah. Not to mention it's Cavan Scott, right? So enough said just right there. We know he does amazing things from his previous work, Duke of Jedi Lost, etc. But also, like, I know this is wave 2 of the first phase. Right?
Yep.
So there's so much, but we also know like middle-ish chapters tend to get even darker, especially after what we saw in Light of the Jedi, right? Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, etc. I love that. I love when stuff gets really dark, and so the Rising Storm. Just listen to that title. Like I cannot wait to just get to that last page.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the world to read it. And a little sneak peek. Watchers, viewers of tonight's show, at the end of the show, we will be teasing the review score that we gave The Rising Storm because, as always at Utini, on release days, we have a written review and a video review dropping tomorrow. Race to Crashpoint Tower will be releasing next week, so it doesn't get lost behind Rising Storm. But stay tuned if you want to know numerically what our staff thought about the book. But
It's high. It's very high.
it's very high.
Yeah, we would be somewhat
Go ahead.
remiss if we didn't say that, like, it's kind of hard to avoid this, but Cavan Scott's book has got some of the highest praise, I think, of any Star Wars book release maybe ever. Yeah. Like,
The
I know
book
that
review channel was a lot.
I know we like really freaked out when Light of the Jedi came out, and the internet freaked out when Light of the Jedi came out because it was just so phenomenal. Like, this book has like been a repeat of that over Twitter for the last week, as the folks that have gotten the review copies have had things to say about it. Like, it's got to be amazing. I haven't even read it yet, and I'm like, I already know it's going to be phenomenal based on just the praise that it's gotten already. I don't think I've seen a single negative thing about it, so I'm really excited. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Light of the Jedi, didn't they give us the first 8 chapters before releasing the book?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that was
did.
the biggest flex I've still ever seen in the history of literature. They're like,
Yes.
nah, first 8 chapters,
I know.
you'll like it.
You'll like it.
And we did.
Imagine if they released like the first 20 minutes of a Star Wars movie, like in like.
Oh my
I know.
God, that would be
That is kind of it, yeah.
That's funny, dude.
You'd make that people would riot. That would be an uproar.
As long as they don't do it on like Fortnite.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God.
Let's not
All
have a
right.
repeat of that, please.
All right, well, let's dive in now. Let's go way back to those glory days when we got the first wave. We got the first wave of the first phase. That doesn't get easier to say. It really doesn't. Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule was our first book. I'm
Just
old now.
to-
Those of you
just
who
to be
only
clear.
hear audio,
That's true.
Eric just
Sound-
retched out of nowhere.
I reached back. I reached behind me. I work in an office.
It was the biggest dry heap I've ever seen.
It's like a dog. It's like you hear your dog trying to vomit from a different room. And you're like, oh no!
Do it on the tile.
Well-
Do it on the tile.
Speaking of no, I can't even transition out of that one, guys. I'm just gonna take it on the chin.
Oh, man.
So, Light of the Jedi, right here, this guy. First book we got by Charles Soule. You know what? I was gonna let you read stuff. I was gonna let you have it. Does anyone else besides Corey want to tell everyone who the main characters in this book were?
Sure. So
Go ahead, Wes.
The important characters for
important
you
characters.
to remember or to reminisce on is Avar Chris, Elzar Mann, Loden Greatstorm, who we find at the end of the book is in imprisonment at the moment, and we don't know what's happening, and that's caused me great grief for the past 4 or 5 months. Bel Zettifar, who is Loden Greatstorm's Padawan, correct?
Yep.
Porter Ingle.
Hell yeah.
The Blade of Bardata. The Blade of Bardata.
Absolute king.
Indira Stokes and Buryaga, a fan favorite.
You forgot.
Yep.
You forgot the best character,
Who's that?
Ember, bro. You forgot about Ember, the Char.
I put that's in the Jedi section, but I didn't forget about Ember. That's in the events. If you read the full outline, I have meticulously planned
Why
that.
are we talking about a character in the events?
All right.
And who are the characters?
Yeah, your
under
notes suck,
best
Eric.
Character.
Sorry, Eric, you've done a phenomenal job. With
Thank
these
you,
notes,
Wes.
by the way.
It's no Charles storyboards, but a couple things to remember though. For those characters in the Jedi, things to remember for Rising Storm. At the end of the book, Indira Stokes becomes Bel Zedifar's master because Bel Zedifar gets offered to become a Jedi Knight, but he says, no, I will only be knighted when my master Loden is available, when he's back, because he still thinks he's alive. A lot of the Jedi think he's dead. But Indira Stokes says she will take the place as his master. Elzar Mann and Avar Kriss have a little bit of a secret embrace at the end of the book. And then Elzar Mann, we find out, is elevated to master, because he's been messing around a lot, but after his work with the Rain, right, with helping out all the droids, they elevate him to master for saving the galaxy. I will take on the villains, and then we'll let you go. Then we'll mention some other characters. Charles, we'll let you have the others because you've already mentioned Ember, so we got to add that in there.
I'll take the others.
The key villains to remember are Lorna D, the Twi'lek, who is a Nihil, Pan Eta, who is a Dwa. Oh my God,
I don't remember
he's
that.
giant. He's a giant dude. A Dwooten, thank you. Who's a Tempest Runner. Kassav is a Weequay, but he does die in Light of the Jedi, so he is no longer a Tempest Runner.
Right.
And Markion Ro is the main leader of the Nihil, and he is very important in literally everything. So those are your main villain takeovers. We have other villains that are in the High Republic, but we're going to get to them in later books. Charles, bring us home with Ember and just two other kind of main characters we want to remember about.
Yeah. So the other characters, Ember, I'm going to say first and foremost, it's a Charhound, which is kind of what it sounds like. It's a dog, basically Bel Zedifar's best friend, man's best friend, but also it's like some kind of fire dog.
She can breathe fire, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Velociraptor, fire dog, something of the nature,
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
I guarantee you that's what Daniel Jose Older pitched in the meeting. Word for word.
100%. Think Charmander. Other characters that I know about, the Chancellor of the Republic, Lena So, who is really, it's her policies that kind of frame a lot of what's going on, because she's the one who coins the phrase, like, we are all the Republic. She's the one who decided to create this project to make Starlight Beacon, which is supposed to be a whole network of beacons that are going to go to the Outer Rim that will help with communication and bringing more people into the Republic. So she's hugely important. She also has 2 pet lions. Everyone just has awesome pets in this.
Yeah, Targa, Maru, and
it's a V.
Oh my gosh, that's
is it Voru?
oh, well, I was listening to the Rising Storm audiobook today, and they said their names.
It's an M and a V. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But and then the other important characters that come up are the Santekas, and so you meet a couple of Santekas who are, predecessors to Lor Santeca that we meet in The Force Awakens, but they're important because they basically are experts in mapping hyperspace, because it's not easy in the High Republic to travel through hyperspace, but they're some of the people who kind of understand it the best, like finding hyperspace lanes that you can safely travel in. And then I guess we're going full bore spoilers, right?
Yep, full spoilers. If you didn't read the book, here you go.
Yeah. So then we learn that there is another Santeca that we meet more towards the end of this book, if I remember correctly.
Yep, Marie Santeca.
Yep, Marie Santeca. She's like ancient, so old. Basically, Markian Ro has her in some kind of like medical contraption that's keeping her alive, because she's more or less a Skywalker from the Thrawn series. Like she can path out, or she can come up with paths through hyperspace just in her own mind. So she gives these to Markian Ro. Markian Ro then gives these to the Nile, and that's kind of how he has power over the Nile, is he provides them with these paths.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got all those main players. Corey, we got our cast that we had. Walk us through like kind of the main, really brief bullet points of Light of the Jedi.
Right. So the biggest thing about Light of the Jedi is it introduces the entire premise of the Great Disaster, right? It's related to like the Nihil's paths, right? Like they like pull a commercial ship out of hyperspace, and it explodes essentially into a bunch of pieces, and the pieces are traveling faster than light speed, like all through hyperspace, and they start smashing into stuff, right? They're smashing into planets and major cities and just killing millions and millions of people. And henceforth is known as the Great Disaster, right? So the entire premise of the Light of the Jedi is figuring out how to combat that, first of all, and then figure out like the Nihil may be responsible, right? So we get the introduction of the Nihil, and the Jedi sort of discover that the Nihil exists, and they start to sort of fight them on multiple fronts. Is, I guess, a way to look at it is like we have lots of things happening, both from the Nihil are trying to like escape the Jedi, and also like kind of trying to carve out their own existence still, like out in the Outer Rim, I guess. We also have Marchion Ro, who's like, he's the leader of the Nihil, we've already said, known as the Eye. He sort of takes over leadership of the Nihil through like kind of a grand plan, kind of, I guess. It makes it seem like he's been planning this for a really long time, maybe even as far back as his father, who sort of introduced him to the Nihil.
And then was like betrayed suspiciously.
Yeah, right. Suspiciously
By
betrayed.
One of the Tempests,
Right.
Exactly.
Martin Ro thinks.
Right. So he sends Kasif and Kasif's like entire like what are they called?
Storm, right?
Yeah, the storm. Yeah, that's it. I forgot about that. Yeah, he sends like the storm into a trap, basically, and Kasif ends up like totally screwed over. And I love that scene in the book where he cuts off his hand, and he's like, haven't you forgotten about your hand or whatever? What did he say
Don't
to him?
forget your hand.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
Like, oh my God, what a baller move.
Yeah, incredible flex.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Then
because it was like a democracy-esque thing within the Nihil, and then once one of them are gone, then all the ties go to the Eye. So when there were only two at the end of the book, Marchion Ro can basically dictate where he wants to go,
right.
and we get the vibe that was his plan.
Yeah, so Marchion Ro is in charge of the Nihil at the end of the book, and it looks like the other two. Who's left now? Lorna D and Pan Eta. Pan Eta. They seem to be kind of down with that. Like is kind of the vibe
That's the vibe at the end of the book. Yeah,
that was sort of left with is like, all right, this guy's in charge now. We'll follow him. Like it's kind of how it kind of played out. And they've sort of, some of the authors have said behind the scenes a little bit that Lorna D is going to have a huge part of the entire grand plan going forward.
Yeah.
So that'll be very interesting.
She's getting that audio drama. Tempest Runner is all about her at the end of this year, or in the fall, not even the end of the year. It's gonna be sooner than we think.
Right. So I guess then the other thing to conclude about the story is at the end we have is what's going on with the Jedi and Starlight Beacon and the Republic, because it's, a large part of the book was focused on like sort of maybe kind of the rise of the Nihil, at least Marchion Ro's plan and his version of the Nihil. The Starlight Beacon is open at the end of the book, and the Jedi are kind of moving into their roles into that. Who is set to become the leader of the Starlight Beacon, and then
Avar Kriss.
Yes, that was Avar Kriss. I wasn't sure if that was.
Oh wait,
that was her.
no, Jorah Mali was. That's what you were thinking of.
Yes,
and then
that's what
she
I'm thinking
dies.
of. Right. Jorah Mali dies, and she dies, and then Avar Kriss. Avar Kriss is sort of moving into that role.
Yeah, the Marshal.
Book. Yeah, and then as Charles already said earlier, or maybe it was Wes that said it, Loden Greatstorm in this book, like, is captured at the very end by Marchion Ro, and he has this scary purple, I don't know, device of some kind of Sith artifact or something. It's not really explained what it is. We got to find out what it is. Still.
An eggplant.
The eggplant, the Sith eggplant. Marchion Ro has that, and Loden Greatstorm is like in his possession, and it's left at that. In his sick torture chamber with all like the people being tortured, so he can't use his Jedi powers. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's clouding his judgment because people are in pain and sorrow. It's amazing. It's great writing.
I know. It really is great writing. And then at the very end, we have this crazy vision from Elzar Mann, but I can't remember what happened in that. Do you guys what happened in that?
It's kind of like in Age of Ultron when Tony Stark sees all the Avengers dead. It's kind of like that thing. He just sees all his friends dying in pain and fear. Like those were the big emotions. Like it's obviously it's a Jedi vision, so it's not super literal, but he senses just overwhelming fear and pain. of all his fellow Jedi friends. And that's how the book ends. So other key things we want to remember going into Rising Storm from this book. Number one, the Starlight Beacon was the first of Lena So's great works. So that was, as a chancellor, that's been her whole kind of plan. She wants to develop a lot of great works for the galaxy at large. So Starlight Beacon is one, and we learn about another one in the Rising Storm. As Corey said, Marchion Ro has some sort of ancient weapon that he claims has something to do with the Jedi, perhaps. Like his family had something to do with the Jedi. It's still very murky. But we want to remember that. And then, of course, as we said, in Loden's absence, Indira Stokes becomes Bel's master, and Ember is right by his side. Ember does come back to the Starlight Beacon with Bel. And now we're looking at the glorious book profile for Light of the Jedi. We remind you all, it did get a 9.6 masterpiece rating. It has a ton of staff reviews, has 16 5-star user reviews. So we love this book quite a lot, and that is the main thing to read. If
you don't read
for
anything
some reason,
else, it sets everything up.
Yeah, the adult novels are kind of like, if you read this one, you'll get most of it into the next one. But obviously, the other books bring about some things that you may miss. So let's go to the next one. The next book was, of course, not going to do it this time. That wasn't me, audio listeners. Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, the YA novel that follows a bunch of different characters than Light of the Jedi. The Jedi in this book are Reath Silas, Padawan Reath Silas, Master Comac Vitus, Orla Jurini, the Wayseeker, Master Jorah Mali, and then Des Ryden, the Apprentice. And this book was very different than Light of the Jedi because it dealt with mainly the Drengir. Can one of you guys tell us, what is the Drengir? Like, what's the elevator pitch? What are they?
The Drengir are, if anybody has seen the, it's not an actual thing. It's a theory of Slender Man. Has anybody, if you've seen Slender Man, it's Slender Man as a plant, pretty much. So they're
solid,
really tall Slender Man plant people who use their vines to basically wrap around you, and they have thorns and they cut you and they tear you apart, and they're terrifying. They're terrifying plant slender people.
It's kind of like Slender Man Ints from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Because
But
meat's
giant-
back on the menu.
Yeah, meat,
It's like
literally.
meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah,
What-
they talk
what
a lot
if
about
your-
meat.
What if your houseplant wanted to eat you?
Exactly.
That's the Drengir.
Exactly. It is.
So we get a lot of that. Harris in the chat saying that Reath, Orla, and Comac are their favorites. Love these characters, absolutely. Reath is a little more of a bookish character. Comac is, again, another researcher, Master Jedi. And Orla Jurini is a Wayseeker Jedi. Is something we haven't really seen a ton before. And this book kind of takes them through discovering the Drengir. And we get a lot of cool Force power moments. And we meet Nan, the Nihil, who ends up kneeling at the throne of Marchion Ro at the end of the book. Less plot-driven, more... Stop looking at Slack while we're doing a show, you losers. I'm calling you out. Because I'm doing a show, and there's like, it's snickering.
Oh, man.
Get out of Slack, mute the channels, and pay attention to the audience.
All right.
Sorry.
High Republic. Come on,
Sorry, everyone.
Eric. Let's go.
Oh, no, I am coming on. I'm running this bus. You fools.
All right, are we
So,
talking about the important events now?
Well, I think
yeah.
we missed an important character, did we not?
Amber's not
maybe-
in this book. Amber's not
Maybe one of the most important characters.
Go for it.
All right, so his name is none other than Geode.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
yeah.
How did I
Well,
miss? Oh, yeah.
The whole crew. The
Go
whole
for it.
band.
Yeah, I missed them. Go for it.
The best comedic presence in this entire book, and Corey hated him, but Geode is the co-pilot to what is his name?
Alias
Matthew McConaughey.
Skyassi.
Yeah, Skyassi.
Matthew McConaughey in space. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, this guy right here. Here he is.
Dude.
The solid rock mattress. He is the co-pilot, and he is always in places you never thought he would be. He makes jokes. He chuckles. He goes to bars. I mean, probably one of the best written characters I've ever ever read in quite some time.
Yeah,
Give it
he
a-
Really rock
teleports.
solid.
Oh man, nice.
And then Affy Hollow, right? Affy plays a big part too,
He's a great
as
character.
kind of the crew member who's learning from Leox, but then kind of steps into the leadership role by the end of the book.
Yeah.
I wonder if she will ever play a larger role in future waves of the High Republic.
Well, funny you should ask, Corey. This past week, we got a preview, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, of the upcoming High Republic Adventures comic by Daniel Jose Older, and Affy and Geode do make an appearance. So,
Wow. All right.
if you want to see Geode
Right.
drawn in a comic book, Geode the Rock, that is coming next week in the High Republic Adventures.
Geode the Rock Johnson.
Who would win in a
think-
fight? Geode or Claude?
Oh, Geode, absolutely. Come on now. We gotta make it at least interesting.
They both don't have arms. All right.
But yeah, so that was a lot of the stuff in Into the Dark comes into play a little later in the High Republic comic, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Let's see here. Charles, tell us about Test of Courage.
Okay. All right. A Test of Courage. So basically, this is by Justina Ireland. It was the Young Reader book that came out as a part of Wave 1. Eric's holding it up for the camera there. It's a great cover. It was actually one of the promo images they released that had me the most stoked.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot when these were promos.
Yeah, and it basically follows a group of young people who crash land on a planet and find themselves there with some Nile as well. And the Jedi that are important in this book, there are really two of them that play a big part, but there is an additional one that comes into play. Vernestra Rowe, or Vern is what she's called, is a Mirialan Jedi who has an awesome lightsaber, and since we're doing full spoilers, can also turn it into a light whip.
Let's do
A
that.
light whip.
Here, I got the art from the book here. If we want to throw this, yeah, look at that.
Yes, yeah.
Because these have little art within them. Look at that. Light whip cannon.
So she takes a big leadership role. Imri is the other Jedi that we spend a lot of time with. He's the guy who looks like he's flying on the cover with a cape. Looks kind of Superman-esque. And he is a little bit more troubled, maybe not quite as rock solid in his Jedi foundations as Vern. And then the last Jedi that we talk about is Douglas Sunvale, which is one of my favorite High Republic names.
I love Doug. Oh, Master Doug.
Doug.
And Doug, guys, remind me, was this not Imri's master, right?
Yep.
Who was lost along the way. The sun set on Master Sunvale.
Ooh. That was
Yeah,
nice.
So thank you.
You just come up with that? That was good.
I did, but please, you're making me blush. So those are the Jedi. Does someone else want to talk about villains? They're not quite as interesting in this book. They don't do as much.
Yeah. It's the Nile in
Nile
general.
is
Always the Nile, right?
This is all. Yeah. This Junior Reader's book, this more tied in almost directly into Light of the Jedi as far as time frame goes. The Great Disaster essentially sent the Padawans and Vernestra, who is a Jedi Knight, off to the planet at the same time everything was happening. And they kind of dealt with this Nile cell that tried to, kidnap them, and then they had to escape and take over, very typical good young adventurer stuff. But it also featured a couple characters that were not Jedi that were involved, including most predominantly Avon Staros, who fans of the Star Wars comic line might know as Sana Staros, or the Dr. Aphra audio drama for that matter, maybe a descendant. And then Honesty Weft, who was like an ambassador's son. And then J6, who was the lovable droid, was Avon's droid. And they got into a bunch of nice little hijinks here. And this was cool because I know a lot of us don't talk a lot about the Junior Reader novels as much. But it really was a nice, fun adventure. We have a review of it on this very channel if you want to check out more. But things to mainly remember in this book that lead into the next books is mainly the character of Vernestra Rowe. Right? She is the youngest Jedi Knight at 16. She was 15 when she first got promoted to knighthood. Imri becomes her Padawan. And he is intensely empathic in the Force. He is a character that is, shut off your feelings is like the hardest thing in the world for this dude. He can feel everything a ton. And I really liked how that was written in the book, right? Like we hadn't really seen a guy that was that in touch, and that's kind of why he flirted with the dark a little bit, I thought.
Right.
Yeah, that's like a huge point from this book, I think, is he loses his master. He's just angry at the world. They're on a planet that's like there's acid rain happening like all the time. Like it's terrible. His life sucks.
Acid rain.
And so,
that's right.
He does. He flirts with the dark side, and before Vernestra becomes his master, their lightsabers may or may not cross for the first time in the High Republic, right? So they actually duel.
Right.
And after being defeated, Imri then becomes Vern's new Padawan, which is really cool.
Yeah. That again, that lightsaber, which as you said, is also a light whip. And I forgot at this point, our very own Jacob, in the chat, our Spice Den went through my notes before this. All the blue stuff is all Jacob in our outline here. And he reminded me that it came to her via the Force, the idea of it. So it's kind of a secret. This is a secret mod. She went in after hours and listened to the Force. Like, don't tell Stell and Geos that I made a light whip. Like,
unlock the cheat codes.
Exactly. So
up, left, down, left, up, left, right.
Light whip.
Select start.
Light whip. Select start.
That'd be amazing. So those are the three main books. If you hadn't gotten into comics, that's what you read. What, like 5 months ago now? By this point, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's been like 3 or 4 years. It feels like since that. But then we got into comics. Our friends in the Cosmic Force did a really great episode recently, all about the High Republic comics. I was about to throw it to Corey. I'm gonna let you into water first.
No,
okay.
I'm ready.
All right, you got it, baby. Tell us all about the Marvel the High Republic comic series.
Yeah, so I am not as caught up on the High Republic comic stuff. I do have, I think the first one, I haven't read it yet, but I do own the first one of the series. And I think Cosmic Force, I listened to their episode recently about the comics as well. So they have incredibly strong reviews. If you're gonna pick up
beautiful, my god.
If you want to pick up any comics, like these come at very high recommendation. And check out the Cosmic Force episode for all of that content, all about the High Republic stuff, kind of as it's coming out. A couple of big things to say about this comic series. Like, we have several Jedi that we're somewhat familiar with already. Keeve is in it. Avar Chris is in it. Skier, which I love. I love his name. Yeah. That's the Trandoshan, right?
Yep. Correct. That gets like his arm cut off while he's in a vector during the books when he's fighting with Dromali.
Yeah.
Which comes into play in these comics too.
Yeah, it does.
No big deal. He's a lizard. He'll grow back. I don't know.
Eventually.
Faster than you think.
That has to look really weird as it's happening. Like, there's this little arm with little hands sticking out of his shoulder. Like, that's how it works, right?
It's growing. Don't look at it.
That's
Just ignore it.
Just ignore it.
Dude, don't look at Skier's arm thing. It gets weird about it. Just be
we
cool.
We also have. We also have a couple of new names, I guess, right? I don't think these characters were brought up anywhere else. I'm gonna butcher these pronunciations. Surret, I guess. Surret and Tarek, and then Astala Maru. And I have no idea who these characters are because I haven't read all these comics. Yeah,
so Sarah and Tarek are they're a non-binary twin Jedi. They have a Force connection, and then Astala Maru is kind of like the research center of Starlight Beacon. If you've read any of the High Republic comics, he's the Jedi that's like always floating and looking at all the monitors and stuff, and it's kind of like monitoring
like
space.
He's like the Heimdall of the High Republic.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, they'll be dealing with something, and they'll call back into Astala Maru and be like, what's going on? Like, are you seeing anything in the comm chatter about this, etc. He's really cool. I really like that guy.
Yeah, and the comic's been great. It's been 5 issues so far. Issue 6 comes out on Friday. It's the start, or Wednesday. Comes out on Wednesday. It's the start of a new arc. So the first 5 are one solid story that they just finished right before Wave 2 because they're geniuses. And it deals with, as we said, mainly the Drengir. are a big foe in this, as well as the Hutts come in. That's right, those Hutts. They're still around. They're old as hell. They're pretty great.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah. They've come in the last couple issues pretty distinctly. And again, if you haven't caught up and you want to, you're waiting for the trade paperback, maybe skip ahead a little bit, cover your ears for a little bit. Let's see. Wes, can you walk us through some of the main points about the High Republic comic?
So first, we got a first bullet point here is Kiev was knighted after completing her trials unconventionally. I don't remember this part.
It was like first issue.
Okay.
First issue. It was kind of separate from the rest of it. Kiev Trennis was on this planet, did a bunch of cool adventure stuff, and then she gets knighted at the end, and they do like by the will of the Force, by the will of the Council, or whatever it is.
Perfect.
Which
So
is great.
the Drengir, they make it to Starlight Beacon and it's tacked.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big point. The Jedi team up with the Hutts, which is unheard of, right?
Which is crazy.
When would that ever happen?
Yeah.
But
Rancors are also involved.
apparently they used to be allies or friends before the start of episode 4.
Yeah.
And, but they fight back against the Drengir.
Mm-hmm.
And Skier, the Trandoshan Jedi himself, is overtaken by the Drengir at one point, and his connection to the Force has been damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Key point.
Yeah. And because Corey, you mentioned like his arm getting cut off and how that could work with his stub. There are a bunch of awesome moments in this comic where like he uses Drengir vines to like grow an arm essentially and fight with it. It is comic book crazy epicness.
That is crazy.
That is great.
Eric,
It's dope.
what's the easiest way to quickly read all the comics if you want to just like blow through them pretty quickly? What do you think?
Excellent question. I would say at present, I would go Comixology route. I read all my comics digitally. If you have like an iPad or even a computer, honestly, you can read them on there. Mm-hmm. They're always available. One click, insta buy. A lot of people do Marvel Unlimited. That is a 3-month waiting period, so it doesn't get you current, but you can read the first couple. And it looks like the trade paperbacks, which I know a lot of us in the community, like Corey, I know you like reading a lot of trade paperbacks as well. Those are looks like they're gonna be coming probably more fall or winter time. They're doing a little bit of a wait. But if you want to go up to date, let me correct myself. The best option is to go to your local comic book shop. Support a small business, get a physical copy, tell them you want to start buying Star Wars The High Republic, go in there on Wednesdays, have a good time. But for convenience, I know a lot of people are busy. Comixology.com, straight up, subscribe to the series.
Word.
I would absolutely recommend doing that. 2 other things I just want to mention is that Avar Kriss has mainly been stationed during that conflict. So she's been over on Starlight. That she shows up a bunch of times during this whole plot line. But if you wonder where she went specifically after Light of the Jedi, she's at Starlight. She's dealing with the Drengir and this whole threat. You also need to know, as we said, Skier was overtaken by the Drengir. Nope, that's a different bullet point. I meant to say there are artistic representations of some Rising Storm characters. So there's a lot of new people that we meet in the Rising Storm, which is awesome. But if you want to know what some of them look like, the writer of the Rising Storm has been writing the comic. So there may be some characters that show up in both. And I know the High Republic has been so awesome visually because we've been seeing so much concept art. If you want art that's more than just a concept, you got to head to the comic. All right. Couple more. High Republic Adventures. Who wants to talk about High Republic Adventures by Daniel Jose Older?
I'm not.
This has been kind of a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, this is the one thing on this list that I have not delved into just yet.
Well, perfect. All right. Well, the High Republic Adventures is the IDW comic by Daniel Jose Older and Harvey Tolabau on art. Introduces, this is the stuff you're going to want to read if you're reading Race to Crashpoint Tower. This is the most, for my money, like the one-to-one characters, vibe, references. Race to Crashpoint Tower talks quite a bit about the High Republic Adventures. The main characters, we meet Luli Talisola, who is a Jedi. We meet Zine Marala, who is just a Force-sensitive person, not necessarily a Jedi yet. Crix Camerat, Zine's friend, who's just a human. Farzala, who is a Padawan. Court, who's kind of a Geode-esque star, who's a Padawan. Buckets of Blood,
Yes.
who is a Jedi Master, who gets mentioned quite a bit. Kantam Sai, who's a Jedi Master. And Yoda's in it, who's a Yoda. You know, it's Yoda. And throughout this comic so far, it's really been a quieter hit. A lot of folks that may not like the Star Wars Adventures comics really have been enjoying this, myself included. I don't read a lot of the IDW stuff, but I've really been surprised about this run. Some important events, especially for Crashpoint. Zine and Crix are two kids who come from the same planet. Zine hides her force sensitivity, but after a Nihil attack, the two split up. Zine goes with the Jedi who defended, and Crix goes with Marchion Ro and the Nihil, so we get, kids apart. It features also our first visual glimpse at the helmetless Marchion Ro, which is very cool, and he is a beautiful being. Twitter was very thirsty after the Marchion Ro reveal. If you were on there, drink some water, y'all. Breathe. Calm down. It also features Marchion's mystery weapon that we mentioned from the end of Light of the Jedi. So some very important things are brought in there. But really, I gotta say, I've said it twice, but I'll say it a third time. If you want to read Race to Crashpoint Tower, which you should, you're really gonna get a lot more out of that book if you read the High Republic Adventures comics. There's only about 5 issues out so far, and they're super fun. The art is incredible. We talked about it on the Cosmic Force the other week. So can't recommend that enough. All right, last 2 things. One thing that I know a lot of people have not read. I don't know if any of y'all have read this one yet. The Star Wars Insider Shorts.
I have
you
not.
guys read these yet?
You do subscribe to that too, don't you, Eric?
I do. Yeah, I bought a subscription to that.
I have it in the next room over where the bathroom is located, and I have not read it.
Great choice. Great choice for the bathroom reading.
Did you just low-key tell us this is your pooping reading?
Not even that low-key.
You let your imagination run amok.
So these are some official fiction short stories in the issues of the magazine Star Wars Insider. Corey, you asked earlier how to get the comic. Star Wars Insider is a little harder to get because it's a magazine and it's 2021. But because, come on. But the easiest way to get it, I have found, I subscribe digitally. You can just Google Star Wars Insider. You can find like 6-month subscriptions, yearly subscriptions. Get it digitally through the app Zinio, or you can do a physical subscription. I know Jared on our team gets it physically as well. A bunch of articles, obviously. There's like over 100 pages every issue. But for my money, the most important stuff has been the short stories. They've just been called Starlight by Charles Soule, Cavan Scott, and Justina Ireland. They've had a couple cool characters. They've had Joss and Pika Adrin from Light of the Jedi. They've had Velko Jahen, who's a Soikin, and Gal Tarpfin, who's a Mon Cal security chief. Now, those may not sound familiar. That's okay. Those sounded weird in my mouth. I'm not going to lie. That was an odd thing to say. But the series goes through like the day in the life of the inhabitants of Starlight Beacon. It is a world-building series, has like cameos from like Avar Kriss walks down a hall. It's like that kind of thing. The first story, Go Together, tells the story of Joss and Pika, the couple, as they fix a mechanical issue that spells disaster for the station before they get called to go assist with the disaster at Hetzel. So this is pre-Great Disaster for the first bit. The second one, First Duty, which is Cavan. So the first one is Charles Soule's. Cavan's story tells the story of a newly arrived aide, Velko Jayan, and she has to solve a murder mystery between 2 rival species on the beacon. And the third one, Hidden Danger, which is not yet completed. Justina Ireland's it says, after the events of the Drengir incursion, which we knew about in the comic, Velka prepares for the Galactic Agricultural Alliance's annual meeting. Which, again, not the most exciting pitch, but it is a really fun story. Plants. A lot of plants in the High Republic. So
that would have been a 9-book series in Legends.
Oh my god!
How many pages were these in the Insider magazine?
They're about, good question, like 6?
That's
like magazine pages, like 2 columns fully per. You get a little bit of
fairly good poop, Corey. I mean, I can get right
that's
through
true.
that story.
That's a long one. That's pretty decent.
Oh my god!
It's a regrettable event would be before this reading session is all I have to say as far as the length goes. Also some great original art in front of the stories because, come on, we love the visuals of the High Republic. And finally, the last one, kind of a little secret here. Jacob wasn't going to put this in the outline, but I told him to because it's great. The Great Jedi Rescue by Cavan Scott is the young kid sticker book that retells all about the great... If you want to know about how an almost universal-wide genocide happened, but through the eyes of a child with stickers, get the Great Jedi Rescue.
It has a review. Oh, it's from Spice Den. There you go.
Don't complain
I
with
want
a
to push back. I
Hey,
want to
this
push
is-
back on this being a kid's book for a second.
Eric,
Okay, that's
did you
fair.
didn't you get the
Because-
copy?
Yeah, I
Eric
did.
got a copy, and maybe this speaks more towards Eric than the book itself. But the next thing you know, Slack is lit up. He's got like 5 stickers like on his face. Like it's like they're everywhere.
All my cord management boxes now have High Republic stickers everywhere. Oh wait, here I got my little wireless charger. Here it has my Buryaga sticker.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Of course
There
you
we
Look at
guys.
that.
Yeah.
Got a little headset. Yeah, if you didn't get your High Republic stickers yet, because let's be honest, we all want merch. I'm wearing my High Republic shirt I got off Amazon. Straight up. I was asked earlier where I got this.
Got the Great Disaster shirt on. Not sure. If
Yeah, you
still
do.
Rock that.
The Utini official, worn by Cavan Scott himself
That's right.
at one point. That's the last one, but whew, my gosh. So that is the long version of like the 5-minute video Alex Damon put on Star Wars Explained this morning.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of that video that Alex Damon put out, they had the like various pictures that I had never seen before. Like they had the picture of that abandoned base that they were at in Into the Dark. So
Yep.
I kind of, put 2 and 2 together whenever I saw it. But they also had a picture of Mari Santeca, and she was like in that too. It was creepy. It was super creepy looking. Yeah. So they put great visuals in that little 6-minute summary. So check that out on Alex Damon's page. Star Wars Explained.
They did a great job with that. And of course, a lot of the visuals they used were from the shorts that are on the StarWars.com YouTube channel. That have been like the shorts of the High Republic characters that have been coming out. So if you want a refresher on who they were, it's always great. Like, the High Republic is an era of peace and justice. And Bell Zettifar. And they're always downvoted into oblivion because total assholes are like, Gina Carano shouldn't have been fired. It's like, shut up. Not why we're here. Don't go into the comments. Don't read the comments. Just watch the videos. But I think that's about the gist. Guys, before we reveal how we liked Rising Storm, I want to go around one more time. Last thoughts about Wave 1. Anything you guys forgot as we were going through that were like, oh yeah, right, that was really cool. I really liked that. Or like, what do you fondly remember the most? Corey, I'll start with you, man.
I really like Light of the Jedi. It's one of my favorite books like ever. Like seriously, it's probably in my top 10 books in Star Wars. Like it's so good. And I just I'm still continually fighting my battle of the best way to read comics because like I don't know what it is, man. I just can't buy digital comics.
It's
like
tough.
I just can't do it.
It feels good.
I know. I really like reading physical comics. I love the ads
Yep.
that are in the comics. Like it's like
Yeah.
it feels like going back in time. I love it. So like I'm still trying to find a comic book shop that I can get them from where I can get them shipped to me.
Well, dude, you know what you do? Once you become a full doctor with a full practice, tell a resident every Wednesday, go get me my comics.
Make a medical student do it. All right, in the morning tomorrow, I want you to meet me at 8 a.m. And first, you're gonna go buy Chick-fil-A, bring me a chicken biscuit, and also go by the comic book shop. And I'm gonna need you to pick up my weekly trades. Got it? All right, I'll see you at 8.
And then once you get the floppy dishes, I need you to take out the staples, rebind them into a tray. No, you know how I like it. I assume that's what medical school is like.
That's right. That's exactly it.
That's dope. Awesome, man. Wes, what about you?
I'm interested to see what happens with Reese Silas coming out of Into the Dark, and also what happens with Affy, because she kind of goes, her and Matthew McConaughey kind of go on their own way.
That's his name. I don't care anymore. That's his full name.
His name.
They kind of go off on their own way. Maybe they have their own adventures. Hopefully, maybe they have their own stories that come out. But also, what happens with Geode? I mean, outside of the comic, the spot that he had showed up in, is he get deeper character
Right.
like analysis in a book, in another novel?
Is he actually alive, or is this just a really long-running joke? Like what?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it so much uproar that we've given him? Does he get a higher spotlight, or does he get a bigger spotlight now?
Wait, guys, does he
since
become
there's,
the
like-
rock that Grogu is sitting on in The Mandalorian?
Oh my god.
Does he become
He's
the rock?
he's the rock that Ray slices in two that takes out the wagon of the caretaker.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
I don't think they like me.
That would be incredible. All right, Charles. Charles, what about you, dude?
I know this is a little bit of a cop out. I really can't choose one thing like that was the most awesome. Like I'm just really blown away by this entire wave one. And someone earlier in the chat, I'm sorry, it's a long time ago, I can't give you credit, said like I can't wait for the next movie, like Star Wars movie, to come out tomorrow talking about the Rising Storm, because like that really, for those of us that are here talking about these books, those of us who read the written material in the Star Wars universe, like this, that's what this is like for us right now. Like this is a huge deal. And I think that once we're way out in phase 3, like, you know, when we've been doing the High Republic for years and years, we're going to look back at wave 1 and just think about how special all of it was to be going through this whole experience together. So I got nothing specific. I've loved every bit of the High Republic that I have picked up, and I intend to keep going.
Well, damn. Yeah.
Well, good.
I mean, you got it there. I mean,
Good.
And Ember.
Yeah, and Ember. But you're totally right. It has felt like a film thing. And I think that's what, I didn't realize how much I was missing that energy. Because we got Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, man. Like, we kind of had this constant feed. And we do still get it with, like, Mandalorian and Bad Batch and Clone Wars. But, like, there's just been something about this fever for these High Republic books. And they're books. They're we love them. But when we started this show 118 episodes ago, I didn't think there'd be fervor for books, for Ermagerd Star Wars book. Like, it's amazing.
Absolutely the best time to be like running a Star Wars book podcast. Like, it's just so much good stuff. It's coming out all the time, and it's exciting. We've said it 1,000 times. It's so exciting to be a Star Wars fan in the middle of all this stuff. I was like, this is like Bane. Like this is like the Bane stuff that came out, and it was just 3 books, and it was like, holy crap, the Old Republic is incredible. And we're like, multiple phases. How long is this gonna go? Are we talking 5 years? Like, I mean,
3 to 5 years. Yeah,
that's nuts. It's so much stuff. It's gonna be fantastic. Fantastic.
And it's funny because, you know, so let's real quick. I'm gonna, for all you that stuck around, thank you. We hope you've loved this show. I'm gonna tell you right now what our scores are for the Rising Storm. As you know, at Utini, we go category by category. We have 5 categories. We rate in, give us an overall score. The plot of the Rising Storm, we gave a 9.1. For characters, a 9.5. Originality, a 9.2. Writing, a 9.5, and entertainment, a 9.8, which overall gives the Rising Storm a 9.4, which is 0.1 behind Master and Apprentice and 0.2 under Light of the Jedi, and a ton point whatever is above most of Star Wars books. Like, this book's incredible.
That's like top 5 all time on the site, then, isn't it? It's gotta be.
It is. Yeah.
As far as adult novels go in canon. Yeah.
Sure.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, I'm right with you guys. It's so fun that everyone's getting so excited about this, and I encourage you all. Star Wars Twitter can be a scary place. There can be a lot of awful stuff about it, but if you follow the right people and you have the right kind of mindset, there's so much joy and love on there right now about all things High Republic. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's being so excited about it. So tomorrow, we want to hear how excited you guys are. Find us on socials. Find us in Discord. Let us know what you're reading. Use spoiler tags when appropriate, of course. But please, we want to experience this with you guys. We love this event. Let's all be at the movies together, experiencing Rising Storm and Race to Crashpoint Tower. I'm so stoked. I'm so glad all y'all hear about it. And like, to get really savvy for just a second, I don't know how I would experience these without you all in the chat, but also the 3 of you dudes. Like, I get to talk to my best friends about Star Wars every week, and it's at a time when this stuff's coming out. It's really cool.
For sure. It's such a good outlet after being at work all day. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the money, to be honest.
And the thing is, we know that and love you anyway. That's what friendship is.
Oh man, this has been I've said it 1,000 times. Starting Utini has been like one of the greatest accomplishments of my life, and like it's so much fun every single week. And like, I'm so excited that the community has got something so original to literature to focus on. Like, I mean, this is not happening anywhere else except, you know, we got comics. There's something for everybody. Comics and books and kids books and sticker books. It's nuts. It's nuts. You can't even keep up. There's so much stuff. We have to do a recap show just so you can keep going. It's crazy.
Not only for
exactly
the audience, but also for us.
Also for us. Yeah.
This was as much for us as for anyone.
I'm literally adding comic books to my cart as we speak. Like, I have to read these. It's ridiculous.
Well, I love it. And also, y'all, remember, as you're reading, you got friends that are reading with you. Share that experience. Who knows if your roommate has read a Cavan Scott book, but someone in Utini has. So share with us. Very excited. Let us all know how you love things like Stellan Geos and all that stuff. Tomorrow's the day, my friends. Get all the versions you want. Oh, last reminder. Sorry, before the outro. The out-of-print exclusive edition goes on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So set your alarms. I know I will. Don't get one before me, but get one after me so we can both have it, or else I'll be very sad. I guess that's how I'm going to end it. I got nothing else, guys. Usually I have another like high beat, but I just really want that cover. All right, y'all. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. Thank you to all of our amazing patrons who support us over on Patreon at utini.com/Patreon. Be sure to join us in August for our trivia night. We can't wait to see you there. A special thank you goes out to Cheryl Bell, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, as well as Elizabeth Cloutier, Jason Mitchell, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for making literally everything we do here possible. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Doc Star Wars MD. Charles is at C. Hankel. And Wes is at Boss Wes. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey, Charles, and Wes for podcasting tonight. Thanks to all of you in the chat. Send us those pictures of your covers. Let us know how much you love your books. And as always, may the Force be with you.